How is it going, you lovely lot? Welcome back to Tokyo Rising. Today is episode number 18, and today we are really going to try and stake our claim for automatic promotion as we take on two of the best teams in this division. The first of those is Tochigi City, a team that I believe are going to be local to us. They were playing in the Kanto Division 1 a few years before we came in as Tokyo 23 manager. They are a team fighting at the top of the table, currently in 4th. And then after that, we have the small matter of Honda FC. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Honda here, they can't be promoted. It's literally Honda, the car company's football team. They are basically fixed in JFL in real life because they don't want to turn into a professional football team. But they have some backing, they have some money, and right now they're second in the league. So whilst they're not competing with us for a promotion spot, and you can see actually here, they're just not highlighted for promotion because they can't go up, they are going to be a team trying to win the title, and I think they're going to be a tough challenge today. It's been just under 2 months since last episode. I've only played 4 league games. I've only won 2 of them though. Things have not been going quite to plan. Let's run the intro and catch you all up on that and more. I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic Friday. It's your weekend upload thing. Maybe you watch this on a Friday. Maybe you watch this at the weekend. Let me know if you're binge watching this in the future as well. I'm always interested. I feel like in my head, if I watched my own videos, I'd let them build up over the weekend and then just watch 5 in a weekend. Does anyone do that? Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm weird. Anyway, a fair bit's been happening with the squad since last episode, in spite of the fact we've only played 4 games. You might remember last episode I was talking about the fact that Noda had signed a new 5-year deal to 2031, a 3-year deal and then a 2-year extension that we opted to trigger. It was a similar story, of course, with Takeshi and Rio, 2 more players tied down to 2031. I can sit here and tell you now, there's more players tied down for the foreseeable future. We've now got 3 further first-team players contracted for 5 years. The first might shock you, Takagi. Yes, that's right, the 21-year-old who was unhappy. He's forgiven me. He's seen our league performances. He's been playing some good football. I've given him this new contract. It is a wage rise from what he was on before, but £400 for 5 years. It was initially a deal only until 2029, but there was an optional 2-year extension that I opted to trigger. I did get a couple of questions last episode regarding the fact I was triggering contract extensions right away rather than waiting until maybe they were just about to expire. Essentially, the reason for doing that is for players like Noda, it helps bump up their value a little bit, which is going to dissuade teams making offers. Yes, I could keep him on the 3-year contract and know that I've got the 2-year extension, but his valuation doesn't really factor that in. So if a big team comes in maybe in the next couple of months or years and he wants to go, it's going to be very difficult to keep him around. I could trigger the optional contract extension. It's just going to get him even more upset. So in my mind, if you are going to offer a player an optional contract extension and maybe you're pretty certain you want him here for the long haul, such as us here, where I'm only allowed to offer players at least initially 3-year deals, triggering the contract extensions right away just minimises the risk of that player attracting interest, receiving bids, and unhappiness setting in. And I'm pleased to report, actually, when it comes to the general happiness of the squad, as you can see here, it's in a pretty good spot. There's not too many unhappy players at the moment. Anyway, alongside Takagi, 2 further players with contracts for the next 5 years. The first, Kayanoki, the left midfielder, has looked really, really good since stepping foot into the first team. Has maybe slowed down a little bit as of late, but I feel like that can kind of apply to the entirety of our squad. Players have just been taking it easy. One player who I feel like needs to step up a little bit, especially because since I gave him a new contract, he's not stepped up, is Komori. Our right midfielder, he's been declining a lot in training. He is the successor to Watanabe. At 18 years old, he is now committed to 2031 as well, which is really, really exciting, particularly because as we climb up through Japan, we are going to need homegrown at club players. And given the fact we signed him when he was 18, eventually, albeit in 2 years' time, this guy will be homegrown at club. That's a consideration we need to make. Japan does have some pretty strict homegrown at club rules. And well, given our current facilities and youth recruitment and stuff, I feel like signing players who are 18 to become homegrown is going to be pretty vital to our squad planning. Speaking of our squad, I have had a youth intake in this season. I didn't mention it last episode. I probably should have done. Nakaoka here is the best of the bunch. Yeah, he's so bad he doesn't even have a face. Anyway, that's some off-the-pitch stuff. Let's talk about some on-the-pitch stuff now. Of course, last episode, we won in the league against FC Osaka, but then we lost in the Tokyo Cup final. Still not really over it, and our form lately has been patchy. We actually initially got off to a really good start with a 6-1 and then 5-1 win, respectively. Great to see Yuichi Ota picking up a hat-trick in the second game as well. Has had a little bit of a slow start to the year. I believe he had, 4 goals in 7 games, which, you know what, for most strikers, that's pretty good form. For Ota, that was disappointing. amazing. So the hat-trick kind of brings him into a more respectable range. Sadly, since that performance, across the squad, it's not really been good enough. Nankatsu away, of course, against a team we're familiar with, I expected us to do fairly well in. They have been firmly planted in mid-table. Sadly, we drew here 1-1, and in fact, it was a penalty that gave us a way into this game. You can see, looking at the stats, we were the better team. Did not show it on the scoreline. And following on from that, we took on Tegevario. I never know how to say Japanese football team names, because a lot of them take inspiration from around the world, so I kind of had to guess where the name comes from. It looks a bit Spanish to me, so I'm going to guess Spanish. Anyway, in this game, we drew 2-2. XG of 5.67. I think that might be our highest XG all season, and yet we didn't win, which was frustrating. So a couple of slip-ups lately is certainly less than ideal. We are still top of the league fortuitously, and Atletico Suzuka Club, who are our closest rivals when it comes to automatic promotion, are 6 points behind us. Saying all of that, today we take on teams either side of them in Honda and Tajigi, and if we don't get results in these, suddenly that nice gap that we had at one point will have completely vanished. Good news as well, our first game today is an away day against Tajigi City. You know what that means, I know what that means. Let's go do an away day. So for today's away day, we are heading north out of Tokyo just a little bit and towards Tajigi, which is up here, the city of Tajigi. The actual football team, I have already checked this, I don't just know this, they play... It was around here somewhere, yeah. Here it is, the City Football Stadium. First glance, looks very rural. And second glance, I can confirm there's a football stadium here, and it looks like it's in the middle of absolutely nowhere. My hopes for a good away day, they feel low. I mean, in terms of car park, and I don't know if you can just use the car park here. I assume you can. It does say here, Tajigi City General Sports Park. So I'm going to just assume you can park here. It's actually one of the best parking situations we've had on an away day, but the grainy satellite footage makes me scared we might not be able to zoom in. There are a couple of football pitches either side, but besides that, if you are hoping for a Ferris wheel or roller coaster, or even just a park slide to go down, it's not the away day for you today. I've clicked the little yellow man. I'm now scared. I mean, let's go look at the car park first. Can we go and look at it? Can we get a good view of it? We kind of can. I'll tell you what, it looks a lot greener here, doesn't it, than on the satellite view. Here is the car park. I wish I could tell you what this sign means. I don't know. I guess opens at 9:15, closes at 5:30. Look, if you can read it, let me know down below. I will say, very, very intimidating that Tajigi City have got their bus parked here and then their bigger bus parked here. Their bus is definitely bigger than our bus. The fact they actually have a proper football bus as a third division team, does anyone else feel like that's a bit mental? Like, it's all just properly branded and looks pretty good. Also, what the hell is that on the back of that second bus? I need to find out. I don't mean to be rude. What is that? Is that a duck? I think it's a duck. Why does their football stadium here look like a nightclub? Here is the Luxperia Football Park. This is where they play. It's one of the few away days where I feel confident we are definitely in the right place. If I'm not mistaken, well, actually, I thought this was the stadium. This isn't the stadium. Oh my, there's a bigger car park. I didn't see this before. So if I'm not mistaken, over here, this is like the city hall, and then this is like a joint car park. I'll tell you what, it looks bloody good. There's floodlights over there. That's the stadium, I think. Also, I noticed just here, I need to show you this. There's a road sign for boars. I don't know if it's specifically boars or wild animals, but if you're wondering yet in Japan, watch out for boars. I'm understanding now. We were looking here before. This might even just be the training area for the football club. The actual football stadium is here. Now, concerningly, I don't know how close we're going to be able to get to it. So we'll do our best. We'll see what we can see. And I can see a little bit there, but I can't see a lot. I've gone over to the other side of the stadium that had another road here. This looks very, very cute from the outside. I'm so sad I can't look inside of it. This is definitely a Google Earth kind of angle today, isn't it? I realise I was just assuming it's going to be in 3D. It's not in 3D. I got so used to Google Earth being the saviour. Today, it's let me down, which is such a shame because it actually looked like a pretty cool stadium from what I could see, but I can't see any more of it. I'm always a little bit hesitant just pulling up random images off Google to show the stadium, but I'm hoping that the people who took these pictures aren't going to sue me, and I'm just going to show you what the stadium looks like. It actually looks really, really cool. It looks like a proper football team, doesn't it? That's not to say we're not a proper football team. Our stadium doesn't look that good. I mean, ours is a park in central Tokyo. Okay, Tajigi City Football Stadium, I have to give you a score. The car park looked kind of nice. I like the wild boar sign, but in terms of the actual strength of the away day, definitely not one of the best. Lack of footage let it down. 4 out of 10, Chijigi City, do better. Anyway, saying all of that, this is a Football Manager video. We have to now play Football Manager. In terms of team news, amazing news here. Yoshikawa is back and fit. I say that tentatively because you might remember he was injured earlier on in the year. He actually twisted his ankle and has been out for a further 4 weeks. This guy, I brought him in to be our centre defensive mid option. So far this year, he has played 1 game as a starter and 1 off the bench. Sauer has been used a hell of a lot. And I'll be honest, as much as I like Sauer, he's not been great. In all the ratings we have for players, his is one of the weakest. So yes, Yoshikawa's back in the team. Of course, Kayanoki now developing a little link with Numata, as have Takeshi and Ryo at centre-back. I have just about forgiven Ryo for missing the penalty last time out, but he definitely needs to continue to improve, and I definitely need to remember not to put him on penalties more. Yeah, I learned a lesson last time. Also, he enjoys important matches. Yeah, of course he does, Football Manager. Okay, it's a 4-4-2 versus 4-4-2 affair today. I have to say, I am loving the fact that we're still playing this kind of fairly counter-attacking system where we look to sit deep and it just works. It's been so long in Football Manager since I've not just gone, yeah, let's just press all the time and do that. I feel like we have a game plan, we've been executing it to great success, and I'm just going to hope we can continue to do it as here as well. Kayanoki is going to receive the ball off Komori. The 2 wingers linking up. Kayanoki very nearly went on his own there. I feel like he probably should have passed it, but he had a rush of blood to the head. Toyoshima whipping it back post, headed at least initially away. Yamada helps it on its way too, and now maybe we can launch a typical Tokyo 23 counter-attack. Otter with not the best pass I've ever seen. Takagi can't get there either, and suddenly Tajigi on the attack. Well, this team has quality. This is a very, very good team we're matching up against. With that in mind, I anticipate them to create more than we're used to facing, and while they might have created something there, the ball has hit the woodwork. We're still trying to get it away. Tosa, with his back to goal, looking to find an inch of space to operate in, lays it to Murao. Back to Toyoshima. I feel like the initial danger is gone, but we need to make sure we get it out. Fortunately for us, they're going to do our job for us. That shot wayward. So far in this game, 35 minutes played. They've had 7 shots. We've had 2. They have had 72% of possession. We're trying to play on the counter-attack. To be honest, we've not actually matched up against 4-4-2s very often. Feel like it isn't really working yet here. Although, you know what? Maybe I'm speaking too soon. Takagi bringing the ball forward. Has options left and right. Looks like he wants to go on his lonesome. And to be honest, he probably made the wrong decision there. Ryo does manage to regain possession though for us, and that's with Tomori putting it in, and Takagi, he made the wrong decision before, he's made the right decision there. It comes against the run of play, but a sucker punch before half-time sees us get a goal with, what, 5 seconds left, I think, of the half? Of course, that's not how football works. It's not like basketball where the foghorn is going to play after 2 minutes of added time have been played. But nevertheless, we managed to get our noses ahead. Chiba got down to it, but could not get a touch. That was a really nice finish too. Gonna tell the players I'm happy. You know what? If we were playing at home, I'd probably tell them I was unhappy with this performance. But home and away advantage, it's a significant thing in Football Manager. And so far defensively, we've looked up to the task. I know they've created a fair amount in this game, but the reality is we've not actually seen that many highlights. With 7 shots and an XG of 0.8, the actual average XG per goal suggests it's been very speculative efforts. And I'll tell you what, I'm waffling away here. We have now played half of the second half. I need to make subs. Kayanoki's not at the best of games today. He's on a 6.4 rating, so Jun Nakajima is going to come on there. Elsewhere, Otto's been poor. I'm going to bring in Otsuka on off the bench. This guy, by the way, 6 sub-appearances, only 1 start, 3 goals and 2 assists for Kaisuke Otsuka. He's looked very good so far this year. The kind of player who, if one of our strikers stops performing, probably have to start playing him more. I feel like Yoshikawa's still trying to build up some fitness, so I'm going to bring in Sawa. And you know what? At left back, Nimata's been poor. Kobayashi, on you come, son. Ah, that's annoying. I've made the sub and then instantly Otsuka has got injured. I was just bigging him up. Now he's not even on the pitch. The issue I've got here is that at the moment Akai is not on the bench for us because he's not been fit. So I have a situation here. I've never been in this situation before with this team, actually, where I don't know exactly what I want to do. I think I'm going to switch to a 4-4-1-1. Yamada can play as a centre attacking mid, so I feel like that's kind of a sensible change. And you know what? I'm feeling luxurious. I'm going to play him as an ungaunch with Takagi leading the line as an advanced forward. And then Ida comes in to play advanced playmaker. In fact, you know what? Ida, not even advanced playmaker, mate. Just deep line playmaker. Let's just see out this game now. I think this might be the first game during my time at Tokyo 23 where I've had to deviate away from a two-striker system. We usually just play our 4-4-2. If we've been chasing games, I've opted to switch for our more attacking 4-2-4. Bit of a shake-up here, but of course we've got talent in the midfield. A little bit annoying that Otsuka's injured. I'm going to hope that's not too serious, as our depth at striker isn't amazing. That said, when we've got starters like we've got, maybe depth just doesn't matter. Takagi's gone and done it again. He's committed to the club till 2031, but with his goal-scoring form and how well he's playing, it just feels like a matter of time before. So I'll make to bid for Takagi, and I'm at risk of losing him. I hate the fact that's where my mind goes when he's playing well, but I am still conscious of the fact he's the kind of player who, if he gets an appy, might just want out immediately. Ida's now got injured as well. I have to play down a man. Yeah, you know what, Yamada just play defensive mid. Why did I make 4 subs when I made them? 2 injuries in this game. We're going to have to play the last 5 minutes down a man. Gonna hope it isn't going to cost us as we, well, switch to a fairly conservative 4-4-1 for what's left of this game. I think during my time at Tokyo 23, we've not had that many red cards, so we're kind of in unfamiliar territory in terms of adapting the game plan down a man, but I feel like this is perhaps the most logical way just to try and, well, deal with the game and what's left of it. There's a minute left plus any added time. If Tajigi get one back now, maybe I will start to get a little bit nervous, even though that feels somewhat illogical. We've been good in this game. I mentioned in the first half they'd had 7 shots. In the second half, they've had just 1 shot total. They've really not created a lot, and yet they've got one back there. Okay, Tosa scored for them. Kobayashi, Mitsuhashi, you can go to defend. The wingers, you're going to support, lads. I'll tell you what, if we go on to concede another, I'm going to be fuming. I've made changes, and there's now a potential kickoff highlight. The game decided to skip the replay because I didn't pause the game, of course. Completely my own fault. And before my changes take effect, well, I'm going to hope the highlight ends. That's the dream. If they go and score now, I'm going to be absolutely fuming. Kobayashi, just kick it out of play. Let's get the tactical changes done. I feel like this is one of those moments where the Fat Football Manager is like it is kind of silly. Nakajima could be through here. Takagi was fouled off the ball. Nakajima kicks it to Chiba. Don't know what I've just watched there, but the highlights ended. There's 7 minutes of added time. Our players who got injured were down on the floor for a long, long time. That scares me. The good news is, though, despite being down a man, we're just about going to see things out here. It's a massive 2-1 win on the road. Takagi picks up an unsurprising man of the match. The ratings across the board weren't great. Komori here got man of the match, so he clearly heard me complaining about him. And fundamentally, this is a pretty critical win in the context of our season. Annoyingly here, Atletico Suzuka Club did win their game, so the gap to them remains at 6 points. As for our position in our next game, Honda also managed to win, currently 5 points above them. Otsuka is out for 5 to 6 months if I send him to a specialist. That is absolutely disastrous. And Ida is out for 4 to 7 weeks. 4 to 5 weeks if I don't inject him, which I'm not going to do. That is not good. I have been a little bit conscious of the fact that when it comes to striking options, I only have 4 first-team strikers. I mentioned the fact that Akai is injured at the moment. He will be back in the next few days. Our game against Honda is in 10 games' time. But as for Otsuka, he's now out for such a long period of time. I feel like maybe I need to sign someone, or maybe I just promote Fukumoto from the B team. I guess the temporary solution is to promote Fukumoto. If we want to make a free transfer signing, though, they can be registered any time. I might need to go find a striker. I mean, when I look at striking options that are scouted, my scouts have got some out here that they like the look of. Hatate here, 21 years old, looks immense, although he is injury prone, and I also just assume he's going to want too much money. Another option is Kiyama here. He is 21 years old, was playing for a J1 club. In fact, he was on loan in J2 a couple of years ago. Maybe a backup option if he wants to be a backup option. Does he want to be a backup? I feel like my issue here is going to be getting a player who's willing to play backup, and that might be tricky. I mean, the good news is there are a fair few striking options here that haven't picked up clubs yet who might be available. Maybe just someone younger like Toyoda who's 18 and can be homegrown at club is the way to go. See, he wants to be a breakthrough prospect. That could be a better option. I don't really like his lack of pace, though. When you actually look at his attributes, he's definitely more of a playmaker than a striker. You know what? Like I've already said, there are lots of striking options that I've got scouted and that have been offered out to me. I've got 10 days to the next game. I don't even necessarily need to go out and get one now. I suppose, but it probably should be a priority. Anyway, we've only got 2 games scheduled for the month of July. The first is on the 1st. I'm coming back for that. It's in 10 days. We're taking on Honda. Don't go anywhere. In case you thought things couldn't get any worse for us ahead of the game against Honda FC, injury update, Takagi injured. Thank you, Football Manager. Fortunately, he's not out for 6 months, but he is out for 3 weeks. That does mean when it comes to first-team strikers today, Otter is going to start alongside Akai. Yeah, that is the situation we're in now. And Fukumoto is back from the dead to make the bench. Yeah, this is an unfortunate turn of events. I am looking to bring in a striker. I've been looking around at all the different options. There is only one player of all the ones I had scouted who had a decent star rating, who didn't want to be an important player or above, and it's this guy, Izutsu, who's happy to be a squad player. 21 years old, has some really high aggression, some really nice pace and physicals. A little bit inconsistent, but for £300 a week is a little bit of a stopgap option to the end of the year. I think he'll be fine. Anyway, it has been 10 days since the last match, which is good news for us because it means Yoshikawa is still fit. He's not got injured again. And it does mean across the board, player fitness just on the whole is looking pretty bloody good. A little bit of a question mark in the striking department. Honda are a good little team. They're a team that have plenty of money to spend. If we just have a look at their key man. Their key man is Nagano here. Pretty blooming good centre-back. He is in the Media Dream 11. I will say, only 7 jumping reach. He's not very tall. Maybe Akai. Maybe this is the game for Akai to come back in. I thought it was a curse that he was in the team that I was having to use him, but actually, this is a game made for this bloke. Safe to say, after drawing 2 games in a row, we needed to get things back on track, and that's why I decided to come back for the 2 games today, in spite of the fact it was only 4 games on from last episode. Previous match, we looked pretty good. I'm hoping we're going to keep it going in this one here. A second win, and I'll feel like we're back at our best. Honda FC in possession. First highlight of the game, that shot crunches. Well, I thought of the crossbar. Actually, Noda has saved that, apparently. It was straight down the middle, but it was hit with some ferocity. There is still now the resulting corner to deal with in Takeshi. He's going to get it partly away. Sato is there, but you know what? We've done well to get the ball back, and hopefully that's going to be the end of the highlight. Okay, relax. Honda, they've been a bit slower to start, but they are having more of the ball. One thing I've not yet mentioned, actually, is with all the striking issues we've got going on, Otter is still in the final year of his contract. He is on the cusp of just leaving us on a free. He's still unhappy at the club. And of course, you might remember there was some interest in him last season. He's not cheered up after that. I would love to extend his contract. I'd love to renew it, but there is just, yeah, a bit of a cloud over our head that he may well end up leaving us. So maybe being forced into signing a new striker is actually a good thing. Maybe we can find an Otter replacement sooner rather than later. Anyway, right now, instead of worrying about the striking department, we maybe need to worry about the defending department because they're making a run through the middle. We mirror there with the shot. It has gone the wrong side of the post as far as Honda are concerned. And now, maybe we have a chance. Otter, speaking of the devil, here he is, giving it to Kayanoki, who grabs his 3rd goal of the season. I believe that's his 2nd in a live com. This man loves the cameras. When it comes to set pieces, we're typically very good at winning the ball in the air. On this occasion, it was all about getting to that 2nd ball. Otter drilled it down. Kayanoki's shot, their goalkeeper, questionable there. Looked like he was playing dodgeball. Okay, we've got our noses ahead. We're kind of executing the game plan thus far. Now, let's just see things through to halftime. Or, you know, not that I want to get greedy. Another goal would be nice, wouldn't it? Kamori lays it forward to Otter. Back with Kamori. The right midfielder coming on forward, and it was very good until the finish. 5 minutes left of this first half. Honda with just the 1 shot on target. By comparison, we've only had 2. It's not like we've created loads, but I do feel like when you look at things, we have edged it out. First half of the first half, we were struggling for possession. We did get more of it as the game went on. In spite of that, I am going to get shouty. So far, so good today, but that can change in a flash. We've not been as flawless as we were at the start of the year defensively. I think in our first 5 or 6 games, there was only 1 game where we conceded a goal. We've definitely looked a little bit more penetrable, and well, with that in mind, I feel like we might need another goal in this game, which is a little concerning given our attacking options right now, although, well, let's see if we can deal with the situation here. Yamagami bringing it forward. If they do get 1 back, we need more. And Noda's made the save there. Was that really highlight-worthy, FM? And unless, of course, the game knows something I don't know, because there is still a corner. The ball's going to be whipped in. It's not fully cleared away. Yamagami heads it. Noda collects again. The goalkeeper so far doing what's required of him, getting his mittens on the football. And yeah, if you're wondering, Noda does wear mittens. He doesn't like gloves. He refers to them as mitts, I believe. He's a baseball fan. He's a baseball fan. Anyway, we got the ball here. Yoshikawa, bail me out. I'm going down a commentary rabbit hole here that has a dead end. Maybe on the pitch, something's going to bail me out. Or maybe Otto doesn't know the offside rule. Honda still a goal behind, but still really trying to push our buttons. But as they go forward, the counter-attack opens up. Sharad Akai, the man, the myth, the donkey. Misses the target. I need to make subs. Akai's been very, very poor today, so I'm going to bring in Fukumoto right away. Yoshikawa not having his greatest game at defensive mid, so I'm going to bring in Sawa. And elsewhere, I'm going to bring in Nakajima out on the right-hand side for Komori. Looking across the defence, ratings aren't good, but no one's having a disastrous game. No one's looking tired. I didn't save enough subs last game, did I? So you know what? This game here, I'm just going to make the 3 for now. Hope some fresh legs in the final third and the wider areas of the midfield perhaps is enough. Speaking of which, here is Jun Nakajima, the man, flicking it over to Fukumoto. He keeps the play alive and gives it to Nakajima. The subs are linking up early on here. Kayanoki, Otter shoots. I think that was offside. Yeah, it was. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Otter just doesn't know the offside rule, does he? Right, Jun Nakajima. Make magic happen, Jun. Make magic happen. Rio can't get there, but it's not cleared away. Takeshi, he's left his castle. He's in the opposition penalty area. He's crossing it across to Nakajima, who crunches the upright, and I mean, it's an insane effort on goal, so much so it's distracting me from the fact that someone just ran it out of play for us there. Whoever that was crap by them. Nearly swore. Yeah, don't know what they were doing. Still 1 goal up. I'm going to make a change here. Mitsuhashi gets some rest. Kobayashi on you come. Hasegawa on also. Kayanoki had a good game, but is tired. Honda have scored while I'm making tactical changes. Why didn't I pause the game? When you go to Football Manager school, it's like day 1, lesson 1's lesson. Pause the game when you're making tactical changes. Noda, with probably the first clanger I've seen him make. The subs have gone through. I didn't even get the prompt saying, are you sure you want to make these changes? It's 1-1. I'm leaving this too late, although to be fair, you know what? I don't necessarily blame us for this. I'm going to the 4-2-4. We're going to go for the jugular with what's left. I'm going to shout to man more, but it's all for absolutely nothing. I should have made those later changes sooner. Obviously, that's easy to say, isn't it? A bit of Captain Hindsight coming over me there. 1-1. 1-1. I'm just annoyed in the manner in which we've conceded. I probably should do a team talk. I'll just do the one the assistant recommended. Didn't even read it. Elsewhere, Atletico Suzuka lost. Oh my word. Sendai, who were down in the bottom. In fact, they were bottom of the league going into this game. They've won 1-0 against the team who were in third. And as a result of that, they've not closed the gap. We remain 7 points clear at the top. There is also Verteen here. I think it said Verteen. Please let me know. I think that's a Dutch name. You know, as I said, the names in Japan are mental. They are also on 23 points now. There is then a little bit of a drop-off to Vespa. Elsewhere, Tajigi, who I really bigged up, didn't I, before we played them, just got battered by Sony. I mean, we are still 12 unbeaten, but yeah, 3 draws in the last 4, not good. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it an injury crisis in the attacking department, but it is certainly a bit of an issue. I suppose the good news is there's a bit of recovery time now, actually. Our next game is a little way away, and then after that, we've got a long break too. Speaking of which, in terms of when we're going to be back next time, I think it is going to be at some point in August or September. We are actually in the Shakajin Cup. We're not meant to be in this competition. You might remember last year we won the Kanto regional stage. As a result of winning that, we got into the main stage, but because the database had a bug when I started it, we entered the main stage the year after, if that makes sense. Normally you do the Kanto or regional Shakaijin Cups. Teams qualify and then they go into the later stages the same year. We've entered a year late. This is the non-league cup and we're kind of fraudulently just chilling here. I kind of want to win it anyway. Also, Nankatsu are in it too. So I don't feel bad about the fact we frauded our way in, because the baddies of this save game, they are also here. But yeah, that is a non-league cup. The boy expectation is to reach the final. So I'm not going to worry about commentating the games in that competition until it gets to the crunch time or we meet Matt Nankatsu. Anyway, folks, we are going to leave things there for today. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. Bit disappointing that we couldn't get the win over Honda, but nevertheless, we're still top. We're still looking good. We're going to be back on Monday with more action here at Tokyo 23. Hope you guys are excited for it. I'll see you guys next time for more. I'm out.